Welcome to the Millionaire Maker Show, a podcast helping entrepreneurs scale their businesses online to create more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. Now, with over 20 years of business building, coaching, and consulting experience, here's your host, author, speaker, and creator of the Millionaire Maker Funnel, Lindsay Anderson.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. I am your host, Lindsay Anderson, and today we're going to be covering a very valuable topic, and that is how to turn your webinars into a recurring revenue stream. Now, online competition is getting more and more competitive these days. Many people are leaving corporate and they're leaving their jobs, really understanding that they can take their expertise online and really make a company that will allow them and afford them more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. And as more and more experts get online, the online landscape gets very competitive. AI is not helping the situation, and it's leaving people who are used to going along with things, not really planning things out, getting referrals, not really having a concrete plan on how to actually make money in their online business. It's leaving them burnt out. It's leaving them frustrated. It's leaving them wondering if their business will ever be this amazing asset of theirs that won't just be a thorn in their side, something they're always constantly struggling and worrying about, but this thing that they started this for, so they can go out and they can make a change in the lives of their customers, but they can also have this really abundant business that allows them to do even more good things and to really be abundant and to have this lifestyle and this life that they really want. So many people are making huge mistakes when it comes to their webinars, and today we're going to be talking about those webinars and how you can turn them into a consistent income stream. Before I hop into that, I want to talk a little bit about a workshop that I have coming up. This workshop is definitely something you want to get on your calendar. You're going to head over to theunlaunchmethod.com. Over the course of 5 days, this thing is going to be live. You're going to be with me. You're going to have the option to upgrade to a VIP where you and I can talk very specifically about your business, about your marketing and sales funnels, and how you're actually going to create a business that brings in high quality customers, that services those clients, and can afford you more time, more money, more freedom, and more impact. I'm going to show you my social media sales system. We're going to go over the entire thing. It takes 5 days because I don't hold anything back. I literally want you to come to this workshop and leave with knowing how you're going to generate sales from social media. So we're going to be covering 3 things on the Unlaunch Method workshop. Number 1, we're going to be covering who you are talking to on social media. Most people talk to what I call a lower left-hand quadrant person, somebody who's not ready to work with you, somebody who is a tire kicker, somebody who's not ready to pay you what you're worth. Most people are talking to these individuals. They then get on a sales call with these individuals and they can't make any sales. And that's all because they're talking to the wrong person out of the gate. So in the Unlaunch Method workshop, I'll be covering with you, who are you talking to? You have to have a crystal clear idea of this person. I will show you a 1 post-it note answer to solve all of your social media problems. The second thing we're going to cover, after we cover who are you talking to on social media, we're going to be talking about what do you say on social media? How do you actually show up on social media like a business owner and not an influencer? I will share with you my 4 major things that you need to be sharing on social media. When you share these things, then you show up as a business owner in your expertise. You don't have to share all of your life stories and give them the gory details, but you show up as a competent expert. People know what you do. They also see the personal side of you. And with that is how you build an authentic audience of high quality buyers on social media. So we're going to be covering who are you talking to? What are you saying to them? And third, and finally, we're going to talk about how to get those individuals off of social media and into your programs. You want to make sure that you have a conversion event calendar, which we're going to talk more about today, that you're giving a rinse and repeat conversion event in your business. Make sure you go and get signed up by going to theunlaunchmethod.com. Get your VIP ticket, and I will see you on the Unlaunch Method workshop. It will change the way that you approach marketing and sales in your online business, make sure that you join me. Now, let's get into today's topic. Let's talk about webinars and the power of webinars. We talked about at the top of the hour how competitive the online space is. It is essential that you have a conversion events calendar set up for the entire year in your business. Sit down, open up Google Calendars, and map this out. You're going to put a webinar on your calendar every single week for the rest of the year that you are available. Now, don't worry if a vacation comes up or something comes up. You will absolutely be able to move these things, but it is very essential and important that you lay out this calendar and you really set some intentions that I am going to give a recurring webinar. I am going to do this. I'm going to have a sales event every single week that I'm available in my business. This does a couple of things. First of all, it does a lot of favors for your subconscious. Your subconscious knows I'm going to be giving a webinar. She put it on the calendar. She really means it. So you're going to continually go out and be looking for customers. Number two, this puts you in a nice process. Building an online business is very emotional. If you're waking up every morning and based on your emotions, that's what you get done, you won't go very far in business. And that's why systems are so essential. If you want to make more sales in your online business, well, you definitely need a marketing and sales system. Step one is to get a conversion event calendar scheduled out. Make a commitment to yourself and to your business and to your customers that you're out there, you're ready to put yourself out there, and you are ready to always be selling. You always have a way of converting those individuals off of social media and into your programs. Now, the beautiful part about creating a conversion event calendar like this for the rest of the year is you have to understand that to create a recurring revenue stream from your webinars, you want to be participating in what I call iterative marketing. It's really the only way to get your marketing to work. And when you have a conversion event calendar and you are giving these webinars, the ability to hear the effectiveness of your webinars comes through week after week. You can go back and evaluate the results and iteratively improve your webinar and go back out and see if the changes have worked. Is what you don't want to be doing is showing up, giving a webinar and hoping that people will convert because they like you or because you're out there or because they've heard of you or because they've been on a sales call with you. None of these reasons are reasons why people are going to buy from you. They're going to buy from you because you get up, you give a professional webinar, people understand what you do, and more specifically, what you can do for them. Everybody is out for themselves. Even nice people, they are out for themselves. Human nature will tell us everybody is wondering how everybody can just help them. That comes with the nicest people in town and the most selfish people in town. Everybody is along that spectrum. And so it is essential that you're going into this masterclass with your customers in mind. And part of that is planning this thing, having a conversion event, and showing up knowing, okay, I may not be in the mood to make sales, but who knows what's going on with the person on the other side of the camera. Now, during this podcast, I'm going to be talking very specifically about my invite-only event strategy. Let me explain to you what the invite-only event strategy is. This is a very powerful masterclass that you give on rinse and repeat once a week. This masterclass is 51 minutes long. You give the exact same thing every single week, but every week you are looking at the week before, looking at the numbers, looking at the quality of the sales call, and making any additional tweaks to the masterclass as you go into the next week. Iterative marketing is really how you're going to scale this online business. So you want to go into this masterclass knowing that you're going to be iteratively improving upon the content, upon the title, upon the way you engage with the clients until you master this thing and it's a perfect marketing asset that you can use for years to come. That's what I'm talking about in today's podcast. Now, if you want more details on the invite-only event strategy outside of what we're talking about in today's podcast, you're going to want to make sure that you've signed up for the Unlaunch Method workshop. This is the essential part of creating a social media sales machine, which is exactly what we're going to talk about in the Unlaunch Method workshop. So that is number one, create a conversion event calendar, plan on iterative marketing, plan on this thing being a beautiful piece of music, just like you would practice the piano and you would perfect a piece of music That's exactly what this masterclass will be. You're setting yourself up as an expert. You're not selling a particular product. What you're doing is showing up and letting the people on the other side of the camera know, hey, I am an expert. I know what you're going through. I've been there. You have a hard road ahead of you. And here's a few things you can take away that might make things easier. But in general, you're leaving this masterclass knowing more about your problem than you ever have. And there's a lot of tension around whether or not you're going to be able to solve this on your own. That's what you're going for in this invite-only event strategy, and that's how you want to lay out the content that you give. So that brings me to point number 2. Most people are going to show up to a webinar or a masterclass, and they will generally have this feeling that if people like me, or if they have some aha moment, then they will for certain buy from me. But that couldn't be any farther from the truth, especially today. There's so many webinars, there's so many options, there's a lot of competition out there. And so you just showing up and hoping they have an aha moment and that you've created enough rapport is not going to increase your conversion rates and allow you to clearly communicate with your customer. So it is essential if you want your webinars to create a recurring stream of revenue for you, you want to script this thing. You want to have it planned out to the T, what jokes you tell, how you show up, what points you're trying to make, what customer stories you're bringing up, and you're doing this in service of the person on the other side of the screen. What you want to be doing is sharing with them your knowledge so that they really understand what you do. And so you want to create a script. You want to outline the content. In my invite-only event, this is how I recommend you outline the content. Make sure you're taking notes here, okay? You're only going to run this thing for 54 minutes. If you go over the 54-minute mark, people will be looking at their next appointment. So keep it at 54 minutes. And this is how you're going to set up the content. This is not showing up and getting to know people and inspiring. Okay? When you get paid to speak, that's where inspiring comes in. This is a sales mechanism, and you really want to approach it as that. This is not the Lindsay show where everybody can come and you can be yourself and be your goofy self and everybody thinks you're awesome. No, this is a sales event. You're showing up, you're ready to share with them your value. And this is how I recommend you lay out the content. Number 1, I start with mindset. You always want to let them know you're thinking about your problem all wrong. This is instead how you need to think about it. Then I cover their 3 biggest obstacles. Obstacle number 1, and then I say, this is it. And then I cover their 3 biggest problems. For me, my 3 biggest problems are who you're talking to on social media, what to post on social media, and how to get those individuals off of social and into your programs. I know that these are my customers' problems, and I go into my masterclass ready to share with them, hey, I know what your problem is. Then I say, this is a problem because you're not able to make the money you want to make. You're not able to affect those people's lives that you want to make because you don't know who you're talking to. So you're going to find their 3 biggest problems. You're going to cover problem 1. You're going to tell them this is a problem because, and then you're going to give them 1 tip and only 1 tip for solving problem 1. And then you're going to go to problem 2. Now, it is essential that you hear what I say. When I say you're going to cover 1 and only 1 tip, this is where people go wrong. This is where people really default into, I really hope people will like me. I'm going to give them so much information about their problem that no one can leave here not having an aha moment and thinking that I'm awesome. All that will do will result in people being on your phone, on your sales call, and saying, I love you, but I can't afford you. I love you, but you gave me 6 months worth of work to do in a 54-minute masterclass. I'll talk to you in 6 months. And they won't. So you don't want to set it up like that. That's why you want to give 1 and only 1 tip for solving their problem. So we're going to go with their 3 biggest problems. This is a problem because, and 1 and only 1 tip for solving that problem. Now, when we get to problem 3, this should be their biggest problem. This should be the problem that they didn't know that they had because they're not even far enough down the road to know that they have that problem. They wish and dream for the day they had that problem. This is the problem you're bringing up with number 3. And you're saying something around, hey, I can't exactly solve this problem for you. If you want this problem solved one-on-one, in a one-on-one way, then I invite you to get on a call with me. You're going to name this call. My call is the Millionaire Maker Breakthrough Strategy Session. You're going to sell this call like you would sell any other package in your company. This is time with you. This is your expertise, and you want to get in this masterclass and you want to set this thing up like you're selling $1 million product. Most people will skim by this. Most people will rush through their sales pitch and wonder why nobody got on their phone. The last 8 minutes of your invite-only event should literally be you talking about this call, why they need to get on this call, why they would be sorely mistaken to not get on this call, and you invite the right people to that call. When you go into a masterclass this way and you structure the content in a way to build up enough tension that they have to get on the phone with you because you're so knowledgeable, you know stuff that they didn't even think about, and they're ready for relief, that's how you build a masterclass that will become a recurring revenue stream for you for years to come. Now, there is one more thing that you really have to consider when creating a recurring revenue stream for your business from webinars. And that is intimacy sells your expertise, okay? If you want to make more sales online, you have to introduce intimacy. And so while a lot of people rely heavily on launches, and I like launches, this is where you get 500 people in a room, you teach them over a week. It's my unlaunch method workshop, and it's big, and you need a lot of people. If you really want to start converting on webinars, which is 54 minutes, it's not a week long, you have to introduce intimacy. And that's why I love the invite-only event so much, is because you only want to really invite 20 people to this masterclass. You want to host it on Zoom. You want to make sure there's not a ton of technology. The more technology you have, the less intimacy there is. So you want to start the sales process before the webinar starts. And this comes with the invites. You're reaching out to your $1 million Rolodex, all of these people that you've had sales calls with, that have been interacting with you on social media. You are reaching out to these individuals and starting the sales process before the masterclass. So this looks like someone new comes in on your Instagram account. You extend an invite to your masterclass. You say, hey, I'm giving a masterclass called Social Media Sales Machine, a simple 4-step system for creating an audience of high-quality buyers on social media. If you'd like a free ticket, let me know. So it's back and forth. I literally reach out to them. They say, yes, hey, I would like a free ticket. Thank you. You say, because we're trying to introduce intimacy here, great. It's on March 9th at 9 o'clock Pacific. Can you make it? Yes or no? And you continue inviting them through intimacy. Once you throw in an automated message in there and they feel like right there that they're being sold to, then the conversion rate on your masterclass will absolutely plummet. So you want to invite 20 people. If you do the invite-only event strategy correctly, 10 of those 20 people will show up. That's a 50% show up rate for your webinar. Now, most launches are less than 10%. So this is really giving you the more bang for your buck as you're introducing intimacy before the actual masterclass. Get to know these individuals before they actually show up. And when you are actually connecting with them online and making this connection, them showing up, them getting on a call, them being a higher quality lead for you in the long run massively increases. The chances of that massively increase. And so this is how you want to do it. You get 20 people invited, 10 people will show up, 5 people will get on a call, and if you follow my calls to client sales script, you'll be able to close 2 to 3 of those every single week. And when you set up a masterclass like this, you have a conversion event calendar. You go in knowing you want to do iterative marketing. You go in planning the content, keeping your customer in mind and what they want to hear. This isn't the Lindsay show, having everybody look at me and how brilliant I am. This is about them. And third, when you set it up with intimacy, okay, and it's a system and there's intimacy and you have a sales process, you actually scaling your online business with a powerful webinar and creating a revenue stream from this rinse and repeat event It is absolutely available to you if you're willing to put in the work and you have a clear understanding how you're actually going to create this masterclass and how it's going to serve you now and in the future. I had a client who came to me. I have a client that came to me. She is a leadership coach and she sells high ticket consulting to leaders in the C-suite. She was very reliant on launches to bring these individuals in. She was doing a launch 4 times a year, and her launches were netting her anywhere between $100K and $250K per launch. She came to me because she was on the revenue roller coaster. She didn't know how to convert in between launches. She knew she didn't want to host a launch more than 4 times a year. And so I shared with her and set up with her my invite-only event strategy. Now she goes out and gives this masterclass every Thursday that she's available. And she is able to not only extend the life of her launches, because only 10% of those individuals show up to your launch. When you give these invite-only event strategies in the weeks after your launch, you're actually inviting the individuals who raised their hand for the launch but didn't come. You're making the life of your leads extend so much further. So my client, she gave an invite-only event every single week, and now she makes $50K in between launches every single month. And this is valuable income for her. She doesn't over-rely on launches. She's perfected this masterclass and will be giving it for years and years to come. So this is demonstrating the real power of having a rinse and repeat invite-only event on your calendar and following all of the tips that I gave you on today's podcast. So there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show, where I share with you exactly what it takes to scale your online business. I don't hold back. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm not telling you the first time you give this masterclass, you're going to make $1 million. But what I will tell you is that if you're willing to put in the work, it will work, and you can create a recurring revenue stream for your online business, something that you can absolutely count on. Now, make sure you go and get signed up for the Unlaunch Method workshop, theunlaunchmethod.com. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Millionaire Maker Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please go out and leave us a review so we can continue bringing you the hard facts on what it takes to actually scale an online business. Thank you. I am Lindsay Anderson. Cheers to you and your success.
Thank you for listening to the Millionaire Maker Show with online business consultant and creator of the Millionaire Maker Funnel, Lindsay Anderson. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time.